welcome back to BSI Indonesia Podcast. We're very happy to be here on air to share with you knowledge, latest standards, and best practices. And already with us in our studio, Mr. Michael Lab and Mr. Emmanuel Hervey. Hi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. So, Pa Michael, would you please give us a brief history about BSI history and services?
Sure, yeah, my pleasure.
Well, so BSI was established in 1901. It's been in operation for more than 120 years. We started off engaging, the industry in various of activities that are related to establishment of the standards. And I still remember, the very first project that is related to standard is to standard the tram gauges. Because during that time, in the UK, there were 75 different gauges for various of trams that spread over in the country, right? So through the first standardization efforts, we managed to cut down number of trams from 75 to just 5. So that shows the power of standardization, right? So ever since then, we started to operate in a standardization space. We're the founder of ISO back to, I think, 1946. And back in 1964, we are the founder of the European Standardization Organization as well.
The ISO International Standards Organization.
Yeah. So right now, we've been dealing with standardization in 3 areas. One is related to product standards. The other one is related to process standard. And the third area is related to the behavior aspects of people. Say, for example, anti-bribery, collaborative teamwork and stuff like that, right? So that's the third area that we're operating very, very actively in terms of making standards. So we're in the possession of some 49,000 standards. In every year, we also keep on updating standards. And that's the reason why we are becoming very famous in the world, because of the engagement in making standards and the engagement in sharing standards.
You say we've been operating for more than 120 years. So how many offices BSI operates worldwide by Emmanuel?
So I think we have 93 offices. We're in 93 countries. We're operating in 93 countries. I think the number of offices will be a hard number to give you. That's where we have physical offices, but we operate in 193 countries as a whole in terms of engagements with customers. So really a worldwide operation.
Yes. Okay. Pa Emmanuel, with many businesses diversification that BSI can provide, can you tell us what are the focus of for BSI in 2020?
Yeah, and that's been a focus for a couple of years already. We are seeing a big demand from the industry on the entire sustainability portfolio. So of course we are talking about the carbon neutrality journey that organizations and government alike will have to take. So we are preparing a suite of services to cater to the needs of the industry in these fields, and the wider sustainability which comes together with the social area. So all the concept of sustainable report assurance, the GRI standard that we are working on as well, and we are even pioneering other aspects such as the product kite mark, so for carbon neutrality, in order for organizations to be able to put on the market products that would show their ability to meet carbon neutrality requirements. So this is the first one. The second one, of course, remains digital trust. We have big issues in cybersecurities with data protections, data privacies, GDPR, and those are areas that we are seeing more and more challenges in. And so we are, as a standards body, as a training organization, and as a certification body, those are the areas in which we are supporting organizations and their resilience in those fields.
Yeah.
So those are really the focus for us.
Okay. So you both have come to Indonesia for many times, and how do you see Indonesia's market?
Do you want me to start? Or do you?
Yeah, please.
All right, massive. In fact, if you go back to a few years ago, a study was demonstrating, economists were saying that Indonesia would overtake Germany in terms of GDP by 2030, 2035. And I think with the influx of foreign direct investment coming into Indonesia and the dynamism of the populations and the businesses here, Indonesia will thrive. In fact, the GDP growth is above 5% in these countries. When you're looking at quite an anemic GDP growth in the UK or in Europe or even in the US, Indonesia has a bright future ahead of itself. So I would definitely have good hopes for Indonesia.
Good to hear that. And with BSI experiences, how can BSI support Indonesia's market?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Emmanuel just touched on the potential coming from this country, right? The GDP growth has been phenomenal, 5.31% last year, and this year is going to be forecasting 4.5 to 5.3%, right? So there are multiple areas where we can support that ambition, that growth ambition. One is, of course, coming from the sustainability area, because the pledge from the government stretch all the way up to, I think, 2050, if I'm not
2060, 2030 in between. So
right.
Yeah.
So it's, it's a long commitment that requires companies like us to continue to provide solutions to the other, companies in the operating space to allow them to achieve those carbon pledges. So that's one area. And second area, of course, coming from the digital trust area, because along as you grow to certain size, sooner or later you'll be coming across with threats coming from the cyber world, right? And BSI being BSI, we're in the possession of a lot of standards around the cyber trust and cybersecurity area, where we can provide certification to signify the achievement of the organizations in delivering cyber trust and digital trust. So these are the two areas definitely we can be very helpful. And then apart from that, of course, the traditional areas related to health and safety, environmental protection, and also quality, we can definitely provide support to help organizations to figure out where they are and where they want it to be. So, and with a population of 281 million, I think there will be plenty of B2C opportunities as well. And we're developing a lot of products that are related to training of the professionals, right? We call it the PQ products, personal qualification products. I mean, that could be acquired by a lot of young professionals to demonstrate their credential in the professional world. Through the acquire of the PQ services, they can find better jobs. They can demonstrate to their future employees of the achievement that they can deliver, in their new position. So, number of areas, I just share a few, but there will be tremendous opportunities where BSI can provide our solutions to help not only the organizations but individuals to thrive in this growing economy.
Actually, to add to that, and then extensions to the training for the youth and the universities. As you know, Jakarta will be moving in 2045 is the final deadline. In fact, it's starting soon. So there'll be a demand for a lot of professionals in the fields of constructions, including BIM, the building information modeling, where we are providing those types of PQ services, qualifying the individuals themselves on being professionals in information modeling. So the fields of constructions, of course, also an area in which we will help to train and also certify organizations so they can, make this move possible to this. It's not a small work to move a capital city. So that's where we can play a role as well.
Okay, so last but not least, what are the benefits of for organizations for implementing international standards?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe. Michael.
Well, I can start. There are plenty, and when I talk to organizations, very often and sadly, the reason for them to take certification is because they need to bid for a project. But you have a number of organizations that understand that establishing best practices within the organization is going to support themselves as an organization instead of just being a compliance tool. So there's much more to the services that we provide than just being compliant to a tender. And once you understand that, there is no limit to the benefits that come together with certification. Strengthening your services, strengthening the way you are operating, strengthening the well-being of the employees, so you can demonstrate to them the services and the quality of services that you are.
Yeah. Okay, so BSI offers the full spectrum services to help organizations work better. Everything from creating standards, training people to work in more effective ways, and assessing how you're doing and helping you perform even better in the future. With more than 122 years of experience, BSI enables people and organizations to perform better. BSI share knowledge, innovation, and best practices to make excellence a habit all over the world, every day, everywhere. So thank you so much, Pa Emmanuel and Pa Michael, for being with us today, and thank you to all of our listener here. And don't forget to click subscribe, like, and comment in our YouTube channel. Okay,
Thank
see
you very
you
much. See you.
on our next podcast. Bye bye.